Good afternoon. Pleasant afternoon to everyone. Welcome. This is DBS Radio. We are bringing to you live the handing over ceremony of 42 homes. We are live at the conference room at the State House in Roseau. The Dominica Housing Recovery Project, HRP, they announced the fifth official handover of keys to beneficiaries today at the State House Conference Center in Roseau. So we are here to bring this to you live. At this time, we are just getting set. We are at the conference room. The invited guests have already been seated, awaiting the start of this ceremony. And it looks like everything is set to go, just waiting the arrival of the Prime Minister of Dominica, Roosevelt Skerrit, and the President of Dominica, Her Excellency Sylvanie Burton. This time we are just awaiting their arrival. Based on the program for this afternoon, Masters of Ceremonies would be Dr. Kira Paul. She is the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. And of course, we will be expecting addresses from the Honorable Minister Popon Skerrit. She will be providing remarks. She's the Minister for Housing and Urban Development. And of course, the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, will deliver a feature remarks at this ceremony this afternoon. And of course, the highlights of this ceremony, the handover of keys, and that will be done by the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, the Prime Minister, will be delivering to the beneficiaries. And I've attended a few of these ceremonies before, and it's always a joyful moment for those benefiting from this project, the HRP project. And this ceremony today is the fifth cohort of beneficiaries handing over of the keys to those who would be in much needed who needs a house or much improved dwelling in Dominica. So according to the information that we received, the beneficiaries will be moving in to their newly built homes, and we want to congratulate them in advance for that. And we also received information that 42 beneficiaries are members of the Kalinago community, and they will be beneficiaries here this afternoon. Also, we will be hearing remarks from a senior disaster risk management specialist from the World Bank, because this project is done in collaboration with the World Bank as well, and of course the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. We will be hearing testimony and appreciation remarks from beneficiaries. I think 3 beneficiaries will be down to deliver remarks, and they are Derek Wilshire, Nigel Kazimi, and Lucy Pascal. There will be a performance by Joy Stout, and she will be singing her popular calypso song, Opportunity to Change. And that, of course, will be one of the highlights of this ceremony here this afternoon. So we are now going over to the Masters of Ceremonies, but I think she's just announcing the arrival of the Prime Minister of Dominica. That is the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit. So he is now entering the conference room as I speak. So this is what is going on right now. And the Housing Recovery Project, or the HRP, is a project which was designed to replace destroyed houses, and while building resilience in the housing sector in Dominica. So this is what the HRP is about, and all permanent residents and citizens of the Commonwealth of Dominica, including residents in the Kalinago territory who meet the criteria, are eligible to apply under this project. And there is a process to apply. There are steps for applying to benefit from this project, and I'm sure they will go through that throughout the ceremony here this afternoon. To date, just over 400 applicants have been enrolled under the project, and they have housed successfully 215 applicants. So the project has also assisted 140 individuals with obtaining formal land ownership documents as per report on the RIP project. The HRP, excuse me, the HRP project. So this is just a synopsis of what the program will look like for this afternoon. We just heard and saw the arrival of the Prime Minister of Dominica. The President of Dominica, Her Excellency Sylvanie Burton, will soon be making an appearance. She will be present at this ceremony. There are other members of government as well in attendance. We have various members of the various ministries who have collaborated with this project. The representatives of the World Bank and other interested parties who will be witness to 42 beneficiaries receiving their keys to their newly built homes today. And as I said, it's always a very joyful and moment for those beneficiaries. Their houses, many of those houses were destroyed during Hurricane Maria. So today, they will officially receive the keys to their new homes. So the government of Dominica
for the arrival of Her Excellency
and
Sylvanie Burton,
presenting the housing recovery project.
And Mr. Burton.
The announcement of the arrival of the President of Dominica, Her Excellency Sylvanie Burton. And based on where I'm sitting, I could see her walking down the hallway and to find her seat as we proceed for this ceremony. So the arrival of all the officials, Her Excellency Sylvanie Burton.
Miss Shalina will lead us in the
and
national
we now
anthem.
go over to the podium for the national anthem of the Commonwealth of Dominica, sung by Shalina Samuel.
Isle of beauty, Isle of splendor, Isle too oh so sweet and fair. All must surely gaze in wonder at thy gifts so rich and rare. Rivers, valleys, hills and mountains, all these gifts we do extol. Healthy land so like all fountains, giving cheer that warms the soul. Dominica, God have blessed thee with a clime benign and bright, pastures green and forests of beauty, filling all with pure delight. And the people strong and healthy, full of godly reverence felt. May we ever sing to praise thee for these gifts so rich and rare. Come ye forward, sons and daughters of vision beyond compare. Strive for honor, sons and daughters, do the right, be firm, be fair. Toil with hands and voices, we must prosper, song a call, in which everyone rejoices, all for each and each for all.
Thank you, Miss Ms. Samuel, please remain standing as we ask Pastor Samuel Augustine to lead us in prayer.
Pleasant afternoon to everybody. Of course, we give honor to those who are at the head table, to the Honorable Prime Minister, his wife, and the other distinguished guests. When we read the Bible, it's very clear, particularly in the book of Genesis, that God has a predisposition, almost a preoccupation in seeing good. The Bible tells us that everything he made, he saw it was good. Even when he made the snakes, he saw it was good. God made water, and he saw it was good. And sometimes you wonder, but God, he didn't see Maria. But he saw it was good. And somehow I can't help but say and think that if we are children of God, we must see like God what is good. And today what's happening here is not just good, it's very good. Let's pray. Our God and Father, today we give you thanks. We take time, O God, to celebrate you and to bless you. Because indeed, God, you have given us a government, you have given us leadership that is following in your stead, following in your steps, O God, by seeking to do good, not just once, but over and over and over again. So today, O God, we ask for your blessings on these proceedings. And yes, indeed, God, we ask for your blessings on this government and your blessings on those who are here to receive. And as they receive, oh God, may they indeed be like you in every way and share the good news that our God is interested and is consistently doing good things. So we thank you today, oh God, for the good thing that you have done in this nation and for the good things you will continue to do. We say, have your way here. We bless you and we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
You may have your seats. Your Excellency Sylvanie Burton, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mr. Burton, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Honorable Melissa Poppon Skerrit, wife of the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister for Housing and Urban Development, other Honorable Members of Cabinet, other Permanent Secretaries, Mr. Suranga Kahawanda, Senior Disaster Risk Management Specialist, World Bank, Dr. General Joseph, Project Manager, Housing Recovery Project, Pastor Samuel Augustine, beneficiaries, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, pleasant good afternoon to you and welcome to the handover ceremony of 42 homes under the Housing Recovery Project. To officially welcome you, I now invite to the podium Dr. Joseph to do the welcome remarks.
Your Excellency, Sylvanie Burton, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mr. Burton, the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister of Dominica, the Honorable Melissa Poppon Skerrit, the Minister for Housing and Urban Development, members of Cabinet and Parliamentary Secretaries, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, Dr. Kira Paul, other Permanent Secretaries, World Bank Senior Disaster Risk Management Specialist, Mr. Suranga Kahandawa and his team,
staff of the Housing Recovery Project Implementation Unit, contractors and other distinguished guests, project partners, representatives of the media, and of course, our 42 beneficiaries, their supporters and families. I want to welcome you to the 5th official handover ceremony of the Dominica Housing Recovery Project. I welcome you on behalf of the staff of the Project Implementation Unit who have collectively worked on this important project which has significantly improved the lives of so many of our fellow Dominicans. The HRP uses an unprecedented beneficiary-driven approach to construct homes and currently employs a cohort of 49 local contractors, many of whom have worked very diligently to deliver 31 homes to date. Sorry, 231. Thank you, PS, for that correction. The project is a testament of the government's commitment to achieving Dominica's climate resilience and recovery plan target to ensure that over 90% of our housing stock is built or retrofitted in
accordance with resilient building standards. The HRP affirms our commitment to the Sustainable Development Goals to ensure that we reduce inequalities in our nation and we achieve sustainable cities and communities. The fact that we just recently handed over 73 homes a mere 3 months ago is a testament of the hard work that has gone into the outputs of this project. The beneficiaries who will officially receive the keys to their new homes today and become housing recipients, I say congratulations. And I wish you all the best as you enjoy the benefits that home ownership confers: security, peace, peace of mind, and an improved economic outlook. Once again, distinguished guests, welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. Joseph. I now invite Mr. Suranga Kahawanda, Senior Disaster Risk Management Specialist of the World Bank, to share insights on the collaborative efforts of the Government of Dominica and the World Bank. Please welcome him.
Good afternoon, everybody. Your Excellency Sylvanie Burton, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mr. Burton, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Honorable Melissa Popon Skerrit, Minister Housing and Urban Development, Honorable Members of the Cabinet, Dr. Kira Paul, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, other Permanent Secretaries, Dr. Genora Joseph, Project Manager HRP, Pastor Samuel Augustine, Juliana Di Mendiola, my colleague from the World Bank, Urban Specialist and the co-team lead for the HRP, beneficiaries, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure for me to be here again in the keys handing over ceremony for a new batch of beneficiaries of 42. And we are very delighted to be here today. I should first of all thank all the beneficiaries and congratulate them for receiving their keys today for their new houses, new resilient homes. Home is the centerpiece of our life, but unfortunately we have seen across the world natural disasters destroy hundreds of thousands of houses every year. Caribbean is a highly vulnerable region for the natural disasters, and we have seen over the past years the housing sector has suffered a lot of damages from natural disasters. Hurricanes Maria and Irma are worst examples we have seen in the past. But we have seen the Caribbean nations, including Dominica, the people, very resilient to these events, and we have seen the communities bounce back after major catastrophes in a short period of time. So the families who are receiving their houses today can be happy because you are receiving a resilient home. The houses constructed under the HRP have been designed to withstand major hurricane winds and also the earthquakes. The investments in the housing sector, resilience is very important. I think we have seen the government of Dominica is making concerted efforts to advance this agenda in many fronts. I should congratulate the Honorable Prime Minister and the government for all these efforts made. We have seen efforts to build houses in safe locations. That's the most important thing, new houses being built in safe places. We have seen efforts to strengthen houses which are vulnerable before the hurricanes. There are initiatives going on with the World Bank and other development partners to identify vulnerable houses and strengthen them before events so that the families can stay in their homes after disasters. You may have had experience, we have had experience, you know, the temporary relocation after disasters is a very painful process. I think these initiatives will make sure that after disasters the families can stay in their houses. The other one is to relocate vulnerable families who are living in very fragile environment. We have seen efforts from the government. Dominica, we have been working with the government on some of the work, but we have seen across the world, you know, governments are taking concerted effort to identify vulnerable communities who are living in very fragile environment and to relocate them. And insurance plays a critical role in the housing sector resilience, and we have seen seen some of the initiatives taken towards that. And all of these efforts will contribute to the government's vision of making Dominica a resilient nation by 2030. With that, I would like to conclude my remarks. And again, I would like to congratulate all the beneficiaries who are receiving their keys today and wish you a very happy afternoon and a great week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Suranga. In recognition of the transformative impact of the Housing Recovery Project, we now turn our attention to the beneficiaries. We have 3 beneficiaries who will provide their testimonies, heartfelt testimonies. I will now call on Miss Lucy Pascal of Marigot. Please welcome her.
Good afternoon to everyone. It's indeed a joy and a privilege to stand here this afternoon. This one. Oh, thank you. In an age of AI, TikTok, name and reel, one have to be so careful what they say, how they say it, especially if they can't laugh at themselves. Protocol has been already established, and I would like to say this afternoon, thank you on behalf of my mom, Philomene Flory Felix, the beneficiary of the house. I would like to say we would like to extend sincere thanks to the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica through the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development for this important project, and to the World Bank and the Housing Recovery Project. It was not easy, but it was worth it. It was not easy enduring those long, horrible, howling, screeching, dreadful threats of destruction and death, which felt like never-ending hours on the night of the 18th of Hurricane Maria, stepping into the early hours of the morning on the 19th of September 2017, only to see that the house that we cherished for over 50 years, she did withstand Hurricane David, but was totally destroyed by Miss Madame Maria. That house was very special to our mommy due to the fact that it was single-handedly built by her dearly beloved husband, Thomas Lee Felix, whom she shared her life with from the age of 20 years old and bore 17 children. Yes, 17 children. It was a home of love, joy, and peace until that devil named Death separated them on her birthday, the 11th of August, 1983. He was 56 and she was 53. That house was her greatest treasure apart from her family. She could not have brought closure that her house was destroyed due to the fact that she only heard but could not see because she is totally blind. It was not easy going through the times when she would say, I want to go to my own house, because she was living with me. And when she would want to throw a tantrum or she would get upset with me, she would say, I want to go to my own house. Then I would ask her, but mommy, why would you want to go to your own house? She would say, so I can put my own rules in my house. And then I had to remind her that her house was completely destroyed by Hurricane Maria. It was not easy, after many months of applying to different donors and firms, hearing that there was hope and promises, that her house would be rebuilt, only to be totally disappointed with the loud sound of silence that lulled hope to sleep. I remember hearing about HRP and was told that Mistress Pearl Frank, who is sitting right here, was their representative for Marigot. It was my last hope. So like Nicodemus by night, going to see Jesus, I went to visit her. She was kind and polite. She told me that that was her last week, but she will try her best. She will submit my application. Too often, we take things for granted as a people. I don't know if it is inherited, if it is cultivated or adopted. But you will agree with me that the house that we do have, we don't think too much of it. Our relationships we have, we are here together, we take each other for granted until the relationship is threatened or taken away. Then we really realize what our house means to us. I remember telling my daughter many a times when I would ask her to clean the house. She would, you know, children. And then I would say to her, remember or think, if you did not have a house, you would not have to clean. So which one is better, not having a house or having to clean a house? It was sweet, but cautious, as cautious sounding alarm that awoken hope in me by the call. You are invited by the House Recovering Project to attend a seminar/workshop on the 2nd of June, 2021, which I did attend and was elated, impressed. The facilitators deported themselves in a professional manner. The ambience was excellent, in that we felt relaxed and cared about. We could express ourselves in that we could express ourselves and we felt dignified, understanding that there is a dent in your dignity when you are homeless, or you have to be at the mercies of others. And we have a thing we usually say when we are fed up with people. Boy, I myself, And anytime you know that you hear that, you know, I am fed up with you. I especially like the policies of the whole program. It is one of seriousness and no nonsense. One that makes you feel that you are valued. Too often, we highlight, cherish, or entertain negativity, and we quickly or delight in sharing it. However, I had other experiences with other firms, and I must say, excellent job to HRP. It was not easy that after such a high, with an anticipation on that flight, HRP, there would be some turbulence and dark clouds and even crash landing for a few more months. But then, thanks be to God, our flight was thoroughly checked, refueled, and on the month of August 2023, HRP crew took off again, of which Philomene Fleury Felix has been honored to be a passenger. She is saying, thanks to God Almighty, to the government of Dominica, and all of you who has made it possible so we can reach our destination. I must mention here, however, Mr. Clivison Fassois, the builder or contractor. He did a fabulous job. He was chosen, he was handpicked, and we were really blessed with the way that he took care of everything. We were comfortable, we were happy, we could work together. Oh, it was a delight. I wish he was here this afternoon. However, I hope he see and he hear. That home, this well-constructed, beautiful building, which accommodates her disability, she can once again call my house. It was, it is worth it. With much heartfelt gratitude and sincere thanks, we just want to say to all who made it possible, thank you. And we will continue to pray for you, that God will continue to bless you, to serve humanity in a way that will bring glory and honor to God and be a blessing to each other. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lucy. We now hear from Mr. Kazimi, Nigel Kazimi, a recipient from Louisville.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. So good afternoon, I'm Nigel Kazimi. So I am from Louisville. So I would like to say heartfelt thank you A full thank you to the Government of Commonwealth of Dominica and the Ministry of Urban Development and its partners for the World Bank for making this project possible. Really, I am grateful for my friend who suggested to me to try the Housing Recovery Project for help when I was skeptical that anyone would help me because I'm a young man and not a young woman. There was a first level excitement when my friends and my family kept calling me and saying they saw my name in the newspaper. I was selected to get the opportunity to regain my independence. My experience with the Housing Recovery Project, staff was smooth, relaxed, transparent. I could always call and get an answer when I needed. And that was great, that you could get communication and a response. I'd also like to thank my company, Ace Engineering, for renting the machines and the trucks to me at a discounted price, which assisted and sped up the building process. My contractor, Colonel Simon, thank you very much for your work and always being ready to take my ideas, address my concerns, and address my concerns. My house is my first step out of poverty and something I can leave to my daughter so that she does not have to struggle as much as I did. Once again, thank you to the government of Dominica and to everyone involved. Truly, I'm grateful beyond words. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nigel. And our final beneficiary we will hear from is Derek Wilshire.
Good evening to everybody. And I would like to thank the Prime Minister and his wife and all the members that is in the World Bank, Lauren Banis, and Regina Walsh, and Sandra, and many more who have helped me with my problem when I was going through my struggles. And I'll always continue asking God to keep praying for the Prime Minister and his wife and everybody and all the cabinet members. And I'm very grateful for the help everybody gave me. And I give God thanks and praise. Thank you very much.
All right, so you've heard the heartfelt testimonies. Thank you, Derek. It gives me great pleasure to now invite to the podium Honorable Melissa Popon-Skerrit, Minister for Housing and Urban Development, to share her perspectives on our housing resilience journey.
Let me recognize the presence of Your Excellency Sylvanie Burton, the President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mr. Burton. Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, other members of Cabinet, Dr. Kira Paul, PS in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, other permanent secretaries, Mr. Siranga Kahandawa, the Senior Disaster Risk Management Specialist of the World Bank, Dr. Genora Joseph, Project Manager of the HRP, Pastor Samuel Augustine, beneficiaries, members of the media, invited guests, a pleasant good afternoon to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to this momentous occasion, the handover ceremony of 42 homes under the Housing Recovery Project. And your presence here today fills my heart with joy as it underscores the significance of the work being done through this project and amplifies its impact on our society. The Housing Recovery Project, spearheaded by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, since its launch in 2019, has been a beacon of hope for families whose lives were shattered by the devastating effects of Hurricane Maria. And since its inception, the project has been dedicated to providing resilient housing solutions to households facing unimaginable challenges, ranging from financial constraints to the fear of adverse weather conditions in their current accommodations. And so today, as we come together to hand over 42 new homes, we celebrate not just a step closer to our target of providing resilient homes or ensuring that our housing stock can withstand future hurricanes. We are here to be a witness to the sheer resilience and determination of the families who will now call these fortresses their homes. As the Minister, I am proud to share with you our progress in housing resilience in the last year. Between January 2023 and today, March 18, 2024, our ministry would have handed over a total of 207 homes. These homes, under the projects of the Kalinago Housing, the Modern Resilient Development, and the Housing Recovery Project. And by the end of today's proceedings, under the Housing Recovery Project, we would have handed over 231 homes of the total target, but importantly to note, approximately 90 other homes are currently under construction, and importantly too, several are under mobilization or bidding stage. I must say that we have made great strides in the last year. Through this, I wish to take this opportunity to extend my wholehearted gratitude to the World Bank and the HRP staff for their ongoing support in customizing this program for the well-being of our community. And it is worth mentioning that all of these homes were constructed by local contractors and skilled workers. This initiative has not only provided homes for the residents, but also employed the expertise of our local workforce. We have had reports of builders transitioning into becoming contractors, while other laborers hone their skills to master becoming more proficient tradespeople. And in an effort to continue to encourage and bolster their trade, the ministry will soon release a list of all the individuals who have excelled in various services such as plumbing, electrical wiring, painting, carpentry, and the like. Through this housing project, we are continuously striving to improve and to deliver the best possible outcomes for our citizens and vulnerable families. To ensure durability, we have consistently focused on incorporating resilient features, such as shatterproof windows, concrete roofs, enabling the possibility of adding a second floor for future generations. Today, this ceremony is not just about handing over keys, it is about delivering hope and security to the 42 households across communities in Dominica, including 15 families from the Kalinago territory. This underscores our unwavering commitment to ensuring that all communities, regardless of location or circumstance, have access to safe, comfortable, and resilient housing. Friends, as we celebrate the accomplishment of the Housing Recovery Project, I extend my sincere appreciation to the beneficiaries of the Housing Recovery Project for your patience, your resilience, and your unwavering spirit throughout this journey. Your courage serves as a beacon of hope for all of us and underscores the strength of the Dominican people. And as you step into your new abodes, I want to emphasize the importance of maintaining and caring for your homes and your surroundings. Your home is more than just a structure. It is a haven made for you and for your loved ones. It is a place where memories will be made and cherished for years to come. In other words, you are embarking on a journey of responsibility, independence, and newfound sanctuary. Keeping your home clean not only enhances its appearance, but it also contributes to your family's health and well-being. Take pride in maintaining your outdoor space by mowing the lawn, trimming the bushes, and planting flowers and vegetables. A well-kept garden adds beauty to your home and creates a welcoming environment for you and for your neighbors. Working together with your neighbors fosters a sense of belonging and unity, making your whole community a better place to live. Remember, your home is an investment in your future and the future of your family. Take care of it, and being good stewards of your surroundings, you contribute to the overall well-being of everyone and create a legacy that will endure for generations. In closing, I encourage you to embrace the responsibility of home ownership with pride and dedication. Your resilience and your determination have brought you to this day, and I have no doubt that you will continue to thrive in your new home. Congratulations on your new, beautiful home. May the walls know joy, may every room know laughter, and every window open to great possibilities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Skerritt, Mrs. Skerritt. And as we celebrate progress and possibilities, I now invite Joy Stout to do a performance, Opportunity to Change.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Change, change. Make it. Dance away. Opportunity, opportunity. Opportunity, opportunity. Make Dominica strong. Stamp him out, stamp him out. Not by me, certainly. Stamp him out. Stamp him out. Not by me, certainly. First day, rest of our lives. First day of our lives. Opportunity, opportunity. One share. Leaving. We grow. We eat. Opportunity, opportunity. Opportunity, opportunity. Make Dominica strong. Stamp him out, stamp him out. Not by me, certainly. Stamp him out. Stamp him out. Not by me, certainly. First day, rest of our lives. First day of our lives. opportunity. Real crime. Old attitude. Criticize, analyze. Opportunity. Opportunity.
Change people. We have an opportunity to change things around. An opportunity to change things. An opportunity to
make Dominica strong.
For cruelty.
Stamp him out.
Stamp out the ugly.
Stamp him out.
Jealousy.
Not by me, certainly.
But we can
stamp him out.
Stamp out greediness.
Stamp him out.
Treachery.
Not by me, certainly.
Tomorrow is the first day of the rest of our lives. Let us make tomorrow the first day of the rest of our lives.
Opportunity. Opportunity.
You are going to be Dominicans. Just
change. Change.
It is with great anticipation that I now welcome the Honorable Prime Minister to deliver the feature remarks.
Thank you very much. Let me first of all recognize in our midst our President, Your Excellency Sylvanie Burton and Mr. Burton, Honorable Minister Skerritt, the Minister for Housing and Urban Development, and the Pilot Barroso Central. That's important. You know? My other cabinet colleagues who are here with us, Dr. Kira Paul, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Housing, other permanent secretaries, our dear friend Mr. Kahandawa from the World Bank, Dr. General Joseph, Project Manager of the HRP, Pastor Samuel Augustine, beneficiaries, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, friends all, good afternoon. I am so happy to be here today. And as Prime Minister, I have been to so many of these functions during my time as Prime Minister. And every one of these functions bring me an immense sense of excitement and happiness for the beneficiaries. Every creature on earth, human and animal, their main objective is to seek shelter. The Lord blesses some of us who have the ability to go to the banks and to contract a loan to build a home. The reality is there are some with their best efforts will never be able to have that opportunity. And in these days, the banks ask for so many documents and there's so many fees added that it would be impossible for those persons to get a loan to build a home. And this is why this government has defined very carefully a housing policy that provides opportunities for many of our citizens to own a home. And housing did not become a thing that we speak about after the hurricane. We built many homes before the hurricane, because that was the centerpiece of the government's policies, is to provide housing to people. And various components of this housing revolution program, from the regularization of squatters, people who occupied government lands for decades, long before I was born, we instituted a policy to sell those lands to the beneficiaries at $1 a square foot. But the land did not cost $1. In some instances, it's as high as $12 per square foot. And people were able to get their certificate of title and go to the banks and contract small loans to start building their own homes. If we looked at Fokole 15 years ago, we stay on the port, at the port and we look up to Fokole, we would have seen plywood and galvanized. And because of the regularization of squatters, we see huge buildings, concrete buildings. People who were able to build because they had a title. They could go to the banks and the credit unions and secure a loan, a small loan, to start building the homes, brick by brick. Then we provided loans at the aid bank at 4% to persons in the private sector to build the homes. The cheapest interest rate you have gotten anywhere in the Caribbean for housing at the time. Now banks are forced to lower their interest rates because of government's policies. Then we placed monies at the Government Housing Loan Board, so public officers could borrow at 4% to build their homes. And you know what we found out then? That the non-established workers could not contract a loan from the Government Housing Loan Board because they were appointed. You know what we did? We went to Parliament and amended the Government Housing Loans Board Act to allow for non-established workers to contract loans at the Government Housing Loan Board. And we started building homes. Many homes across Dominica, many housing schemes for individuals on their own properties and government properties. And then hurricane hit us. First, Erica, where 2 villages were completely wiped away. Piditsavan and Jubik. And the development that we did at Jubik, at Bellevue Chopin, is a reminder of all of us of the extraordinary efforts of the government to provide adequate housing for these people. As a matter of fact, when I went to visit the residents of Piditsavan who were displaced and placed at the grammar school immediately after the hurricane, and we said to them that we were going to rebuild a community, everybody said that couldn't happen. It's impossible. Because, and in a sense, they were right when they did the maths in their head. The sheer cost of doing that housing development. For a small country where 90% of your GDP was affected by Tropical Storm Erica. And we built those homes. And that community is the most visited community in the entire Caribbean. Everybody who comes to Dominica wants to go and see that development in Dominica. We did not sit on our heads and our hands. We toiled. And we provided for the people. And so when Hurricane Maria hit us, and I was trekking the world from Brussels to Miami to New York to Washington, the various capitals in the world, trying to mobilize help for Dominica, housing was one of the main issues I placed before the World Bank for funding. And at the time of the contracting of the financial agreement with the World Bank, it was ready to replace roofs. That was the original program that we had, to replace roofs because everybody's house was damaged. And because of the passage of time, we redefined the project to allow to build homes for the residents. And there were many changes to the financing agreement because the cost increased and the size of the house was too small. We got the World Bank to agree to make those changes. And I want to really say thanks to the World Bank, to the board of directors and the staff of the World Bank for their extraordinary partnership and collaboration with the government and people of Dominica. And I will tell you that even when we sign the financing agreement, it's very difficult rather to change the conditionalities of those agreements. And I recall a matter was brought to my attention, and the staff of the Ministry of Finance and the staff of the Ministry of Housing were of the view that it would be impossible for the World Bank to change the conditions. And I said, it's okay. They'll get it, we'll get it changed. And I wrote to the World Bank, and to the surprise of everybody in the Ministry of Finance, the World Bank came back and said, okay, we agree with the changes that you propose. You see, when you know people and people know you, in this world, friendships matter, trust matter, and confidence in your ability to use the resources given to you matter. And we've had, in the 24 years of this government, this party in government, and my 20 years as Prime Minister, we have been able to account for every single dollar given to us by the World Bank and others. So when some internet junkies and Facebook junkies write on Facebook what the government and accountability and so on, this government has a 100% track record. And when you talk about CBI funds, this government has a 100% track record of accounting with people's money. And so we've also been able to use the CBI funds to invest in housing, because this HRP is but one component of the housing recovery efforts. And you go to many communities, whether it's Granby, in Centre in Granby, or Scottsted, in Point Michel, in Vickers, in Penville, in Paybush, in Woodford Hill, you will see houses are being built. In many instances, they are completed, waiting for the road infrastructure to be put in place, for keys to be handed over to people. We're talking about, I believe, 256 of those will be handed later this year to deserving Dominicans. That's just another component of it. And so we appreciate what housing means to people as a government. And the reality is, I see some senior citizens there, and I'm a student of history as well. This was never the case in Dominica before. Because the truth of the matter is, and in defense to previous parties in government, housing is not a fundamental responsibility of a government. This is why after Hurricane David, Dominicans did not get help from the government to build homes, except with a few green hearts that were sent to us by Forbes Burnham, that some Dominicans got, a few Dominicans got. People had to go into the mountains, in the forests, to cut the logs that fell and the galvanized that flew from somebody's roof and knock them together, cut drums and flatten them, and to build homes in Dominica. But we changed that as a government. And so I'm just giving you some contemporary historical facts, because sometimes people tend to forget. And so I am very happy for you, the beneficiaries. This is a sense of eternal pride and excitement for you. And I'm speaking and I'm excited as if I'm the one who is receiving the key this afternoon. Because I know what to own your own home means. To be able to walk in your home and to sit and to enjoy the ambience of it. And if you realize it in the construction of the homes, we didn't say, okay, well, those in Marigot we build in a different way and those in Portsmouth a different way. They all have the same quality. They all have the same resilience. And they all have the same aesthetic appeal. They were all built across Dominica with the same considerations. And if you look at the apartments we build and the homes that we're building, we did not build nice homes in Roseau or nice homes in Mao, and don't build everywhere in Dominica is the same. Whether it's in Dalis, La Plaine, or Grand Fond, the same thing. Because we want to ensure that every Dominican is at the same level as far as possible. We're raising people up. Some people don't like me in the country for this because they think I'm giving handouts. But these are people who do not care about people who say those things. And so this has been an extraordinary revolution taking place. And then there are some who will say, oh, the government has stopped the country's progress and only invested in international airport. Yes, we invested in international airport because we understand how important the international airport is to Dominica in its future. That is what's going to help bring the windfall to Dominica insofar as revenues in Dominica, benefiting farmers, taxi operators, hoteliers, restaurateurs, farmers, fishermen, small business owners. When we have direct flights from North America and Europe, bringing more people into Dominica, creating the enabling environment for further investments. But we also invested in geothermal. That will help propel and spur even more investments in Dominica. To make energy cheaper. If energy is cheaper, if the cost of our light bills are cheaper, then we will see more investments in Dominica. Because it will assist in doing business in Dominica. Cheaper. And so people can invest more and have a greater return on the investment. Because people don't invest in Dominica, including Dominicans, only because they love Dominica, because they want to make money. And next month, April, we'll go to the Parliament to borrow $103 million from the World Bank. You know what that money is for? Simply to take the transmission lines from Loda to Fokole. $103 million. 38.5 million US dollars. But we believe that those investments are necessary if we are to help transform the country and to bring the kind of economic growth and prosperity to our people. We also invested in small business development with $27 million placed at the aid bank, and people are taking the money. Over $16 million thus far has been contracted, and about $5 or $6 million waiting to be approved by the bank's processes. Road infrastructure, spending about $127 million in the East. And from the look of things, you may have a cost overrun of over $40 million. 160-something plus $million between Cassibruce and Pigwa. But you and I drive the road, we see nice road, but we don't stop and say, what's the cost of that road? You know, I even believe that people in those constituencies are saying to me, Scarred boy, you are giving each of us $300,000 and leave the road how it was. Because they themselves do not know what the cost of it. And I went to the Kanago territory on Thursday night. And it's a joy to drive on these roads. The smoothness of it, the ease of getting to Sinekunau and to Cassibruce. And what they're going to do is going to increase people coming in, the economic activities. So we have to place ourselves for this. And very soon we'll sign a contract for the road from Lubia to Granby Bacatel for $171 million. I'm giving you this fact because people are saying nothing happened in Dominica. Agriculture, the fishing subsector, we invested in there. Hotel projects, most of which are facilitated by this government through the Citizenship by Investment Program. Investing in the hotels, about 5 or 6 hotels under construction as we speak. Extension of the Douglas Chels Airport. We built an international airport and we had to spend millions to extend the Douglas Chels. But it was necessary to invest in order for us to sustain the current direct flights from North America and to look at the possibility of increasing those flights. Tourism, schools. We'll have some 6 schools under construction in the next few months. And then we paid for students studying overseas. We took it from $3.2 million in one school in America. US dollars I'm talking about. That's one of the schools in America. We spend a lot of money in the schools. And we've reduced it now in the last few months to $489,000 owing that school. some student messaged me today through somebody else and said, tell the Prime Minister, what I owed the school dropped from $17,000 to $4,000 this year. Fulfilling our commitment to the students. No student, every student who we gave a commitment to, the government shall honor that commitment, as we have done for the thousands of Dominicans who have benefited from the government's policies. And then the IMF came for its article for consultation, and it says things are looking upwards for Dominica, things are looking positive, and some people say, I paid the IMF. That's why the IMF says so many good things about Dominica. But if the IMF says something negative, they jump on it and say, well, look what the IMF said, or the ECCB or the CDB. And so we did all of this, and I'm not saying that the country doesn't have its challenges like everywhere else in the world. Because in the great United States of America, students owe $1.74 trillion to the federal government for student loans. And a third of those students have to drop out from school because they're unable to pay and they're unable to contract additional loans to go to school. So they're out of school in the largest economy in the world. And so, I'm so happy to be here this afternoon, celebrating with you. So far, 231 people have gotten homes. And how many did we give this year alone? 189? This year alone. That's correct?
For this year, the total is
207. That's just one HRP. Plus those we've given in the Canada Territory and elsewhere. They wrote a wonderful speech for me, so I'm just trying to go for it. And so, this investment, and the young man indicated that he can now pass it on to his child. And so anybody in Dominica, of the 42 who are receiving homes today, who were considered poor this morning, you're no longer poor this afternoon. Because you have an asset. You have an asset that is worth over $250,000 that you can now leverage in the banks. You can take that house and property and walking into any financial institution that you do business and place it on the loan officer's table or desk and say, I come for a loan to do a small business. And use that title, use that value of the house to secure the loan. You can now send your children to university by taking that property and go to the aid bank and contract a loan. You're a big voucher in Dominica now, thanks to the policies of the Dominica Labour Party. So you're no longer poor because you have access to housing, a roof, you have access to water, you have access to electricity, and you have an asset that's worth thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars that you can now go and tell your lawyer or neighbor or just of the peace that I want to do a will. I want to do a will because you now have something to leave behind for somebody, for succeeding generations. And the dear sister from Marigold spoke about the house that they had for 50 years. 50 years. And so they have a replacement for the next 100 years. And her mother now can live her life now at her own home, even if she cannot see, but she has a greater sense and understanding. And she might even tell the daughter, don't come to my house because I don't want people to come to my house and take out your shoes and so on, because my house will stay clean and so on, and too much noise in my house, go out of your home, and so on and so on and so she is. And the dear sister had a very good speech. And she spoke about the dignity. And this is what we wanted to maintain. And so when people criticize the policies of the government where housing is concerned, I think they're not paying attention to many important aspects of these policies. Because I do not only believe that we have a political responsibility to provide for people, but we also have a biblical responsibility. And when I say that even pastors and some priests have an issue with it, I'm not sure how they read in the Bible these days. We have a duty to look after the less fortunate. Yes, I could say, well, let me sell you those homes and I could put money in the treasury and I could pay all government bills. And when we multiply 420 homes that we will build on the HRP by 150, I'm totally getting $64 million. If I sell it to you at 75, I'll get how many? 42? Or thereabout. I could pay all what everybody government is owing by selling those homes. But I know if we sell it to you, then many people won't be able to pay for it. And therefore you're not enhancing the person's independence and you're not enhancing the person's dignity. Because somebody's going to come and say, well, government house and so on, and you know, and they will give you notice to come out. No, we're not doing this. And I can tell you the truth. We're not doing this for any political motivation. My ideological and philosophical views about life, that's not motivated. That's why I tell people, you don't have to vote for me if I give you a house. That's between you and God. We're doing God's work. We consider ourselves to be disciples and missionaries on earth doing God's work. And that's why we give God all praise and glory for what he's doing this afternoon. I'm just an instrument that the Lord is using for the time until he tells me, well done, good and faithful servant. And I've been a good servant, I must say, if you ask me. Yeah, I think I've been a good servant, delivering the instructions of the Lord on people. And then people call it handouts and scary spoiling people and scary doing this. No. You have, thank God you have. Somebody doesn't have and somebody's getting, thank God for that. This song was so apt, this jealousy and instead of we sit and criticize, I didn't read the words here, stamp out jealousy, hate, and ugliness. We have to stamp out these things in the country. We could be much further as a country if we work together. If we set aside our differences and recognize that we have one country, this is our country. And the reality is, for the vast majority of us, this is the only place we'll ever be able to call home. And therefore, what do you want Dominica to be like in the next 15 years? And the question is, what is your contribution to that effort of getting Dominica to where it is? Is criticizing going to help? Is spewing hate and division going to help? I don't think so. We will always be different. In a home, my friend spoke with her mother, parents had 17 children, they're all different. They're all different. So it's not in a country where you won't find people different. We always have different views and different opinions. But we can't lose sight of the fundamental point that we are Dominicans and we have to work together to build Dominica. Because yes, we'll have partners like the World Bank and others who will help us, but the bulk of the work must be done by us in Dominica. So criticizing me not going to help you. No. It's not going to help your neighbor. And it's not going to help the country. You can criticize government policies, or this is what Scared is doing, we should do it that way. But being divisive, and it's not going to help. It's not going to help. So I'm very happy to be here, and what better time to bring gifts to people than this Easter period. A time of reflection, a time of giving. Every time is a good time to give. But on those pronounced periods Christmas, Easter is a time for us to reflect on life and share. And so I'm so happy to be here. I want to commend the Minister for Housing, the Permanent Secretary, the staff of the Ministry of Housing, Dr. Joseph and the staff of the HRP for doing an exceptional job in delivering on this Homes for Dominica. These things are very intricate. There's so many details and there's so many rules that you have to follow and be careful with. And I think in large measure they have been able to maneuver through those challenges. And those that we have not been able to, we have had the World Bank at our side, assisting us in unraveling some of those challenges. All in effort to ensure that we can deliver the 420 homes to Dominicans. All in effort to do so. And so let us all, with this ceremony today, remind ourselves of our commitment to each other. As Christians, as Muslims, as brothers and sisters living together. That we have a duty and obligation to each other. Life isn't about being preoccupied with ourselves. It's about being preoccupied with our neighbor and the circumstance of our neighbor. And so, when people criticize these policies and this program and these ceremonies, they're not criticizing Roosevelt Skerrit. Because it is written that the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. So I'm not the one giving. I am just there because he's not there with us yet. Physically, he'll come back and judge the living and the dead. So I'm here carrying out his duties. And so when we were hit by the hurricane, we never wanted people to remember us for the destruction. We wanted people to remember us for our response to the destruction of Hurricane Maria. And we have become a beacon of resilience in this world. There's no conference in the world where you talk about climate change and resilience where Dominica is not referenced. Because of the express vision that we espouse after the hurricane. And remember, I went to the United Nations a few days after the hurricane and delivered that speech to the world at the United Nations, that we shall build the world's first climate resilient nation in the world. Yes, I know that people question this. You have nothing, there's no water, there's no light in your country, there's nothing happening. How are you going to achieve this? But where there is no vision, the people perish. And in the midst of adversity, we're able to come up with this vision for Dominica. And our country is better today than it was prior to the hurricane of 2017. And we have so many people now who do not need shelter. The last hurricanes we had very few people in shelters because every home now, every one of these 42 homes is a shelter in Dominica. And you'll be able to even provide shelter to those who are waiting in the line to receive a home. And that is what we wanted. We wanted every family to be resilient. We wanted every community to be part of the resilience program. Not just a macro expression of resilience, but a micro expression of resilience. Every individual, every home. So if God forbid a hurricane is approaching, all we have to do is watch and pray. Because you know you are safe in this home. And we want to ensure where we build the homes for you is not exposed to any vulnerabilities. And so when I have a speech, I speak short. If I don't have a speech, then I speak long. And I don't want to detain you because I know you're excited to go back to your house and drink your Nescafe or coffee there for the first time. And to bless your house and the priest and your pastor to come and so forth. So I'm so excited for you. And the reason why I'm speaking for so long because I'm excited. And I want to say to Dominicans that we must not be envious of what somebody has. That breeds hate and division in a country. Let us be happy for what somebody has. Let us be happy for what somebody is getting. Because when your turn comes, how would you want people to treat you, you getting, or you receiving? And in life, we never know what tomorrow brings. Never know what tomorrow brings. Because yes, as we saw in Maria, many of us had big homes at the time of Maria. And in many instances, it was brought down to rubble. We were all homeless in Dominica, without a roof. Everything we built for all our lifetime was washed away or blown away. So we never know. And therefore in life, you see me, I go by life on very simple principles. I'm not envious of anybody. I do not carry hate towards or animosity towards anybody. And I believe in the profoundness of humility. This is why I'm looking so young, notwithstanding all the pressure people are giving me. The people tell me getting younger every day, and so on. You know, they say I'm younger now than when I came in as Prime Minister, so you know. Everyone asks me, "Well, what are you doing like that, boy? So much closer getting, you know?" I mean, see all you pray to the Lord, and they say you do what you can and you live the rest of your Lord. Simple life. But you see me, I go to bed nice and easy. My only preoccupation when I go to bed is that there are still many in the country who are waiting for some help like this and who haven't gotten. And that's my preoccupation. And so my hope and prayer is that the Lord can continue to bless the government with the resources that it needs to be able to reach as many people in the shortest possible time frame. That's my preoccupation. But people who on Facebook and radio program believe I scary, know them or scary, thinking about them or scary, talking about them. No. Not me. We are focused on what we have to do for the people. And so I don't want to detain you. I see the World Bank gentleman is there, and I'm suspect he has other functions to go to. So I could have stayed all night. Had he not been there, I would have stayed longer. But we were very grateful to the World Bank, you know, and I recall going there to the World Bank. As a matter of fact, when we were in Dominica, they had promised us some $50 million. And I remember going on the radio and saying, look, I'm sure they listen to me in Washington. They say, I'm going to go all the way to Washington for 50. I need $100 million. And the truth of the matter is, when we got to Washington and started negotiating, we left Washington with $110 million from the World Bank. Some were loans, and some were grants. And they started looking at every single facility they had at the World Bank and to bring all of the grants. So out of that $50 million, out of $110 million, we were able to negotiate for about $50 million in grants from the World Bank. And they took very good care of us in this thing. So it was almost a whole day of negotiations, you know. And I remember Madam Khan, or the Pakistani managing director for the Caribbean, I remember she took her own money and went to buy me a sandwich for lunch because we had no time to go to break for lunch. You know, and they bought us some sandwiches and some drinks, and myself and the financial secretary, Mrs. Rosamond Edwards, two of us were negotiating there. And so we very, me personally, I'm eternally grateful to the World Bank for the extraordinary support and advocacy on Dominica's behalf. And so we're very grateful to them for their kind assistance. Because we have monies for agriculture from the World Bank, for housing, and I forgot to mention the $75 million for the digital economy that's going on. $75 million. In health, we have a program, about 40 or so, $42 million being spent in health, in improving the health systems in Dominica. And so there are a number of components to this. And of course, prior to that, we had the small business where many people got grants of up to $15,000 to restart their small businesses after the hurricane. And we have a number of technical assistance programs with the World Bank. So I'm very grateful to all of them for this. And now again, finally, I want to congratulate all of you, on this extraordinary achievement of owning your own home in Dominica. And my prayer to you is my hope and prayer is that you take care of it, because it's yours, and that you appreciate it, and that you show gratitude. Because I always tell people, there are two very important things that we have to understand in life. It's gratefulness and graciousness. If you want the Lord to bless you, you must have these two things. If you don't have it, you wonder why is it your life is where it is today. And so you have an opportunity to ingrain these two principles in your psyche and your schemata, and to have this gratefulness and graciousness. And gratefulness and graciousness not only to each other, but to the Most High. Because at the end of the day, He giveth and He taketh away. And in all circumstances, we must give thanks. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister. And I know that as we've reached this pivotal point in the program, with the handing over of the keys to the beneficiaries, that you will do us the honors in doing so. Honorable Prime Minister and Minister for Housing. So from the Kalinago territory, Crayfish River, Kimaya Strawn, followed by Philbert Valmont of the Maho River community. Lycian Odon Williams of Salibert, Aroma Lestrade of Salibert, Catherine Jane John for Olive Francis of Salibert, and Catherine Jane John herself, Xavier Jules for Louisa Valmont of Siniku, Frances Joseph of Siniku, Cassandra Lestrade for Michael Hans Lestrade of Sensi, Elvis Francis of Bagatelle, Felicia Esprit for Thomas Sanford Williams of Bells, Patrick Nichols of Bells, Mishak Dupuy of Benz, Thank you, PM. Jamal Panfier for Jones Panfier, Portsmouth. Natasha Bonti for Annie Langley, Portsmouth. Flavian Laura of Granby, Patricia Pascal of Gotha, Derek Wilshire of Gotha, Eugenia Durand of Maho, Lucy Pascal for Philomene Felix of Marigot, Mary Josette Joseph of Marigot, Denzel Pierre of Mero, Lester Charles of Mont Prosper, Keith St. Rose of Mont Prosper, Vincent Hector of Soufriere, Merlin Bruno Vidal for Edmond Vidal of St. Joseph, Edminston Laura of Wesley, and Nigel Kazimi of Louisville. Thank you very much, Her Excellency, Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Mrs. Skerrit. This represents new beginnings and aspirations fulfilled. So, Minister, we have a token for Minister, a replica of our Housing Recovery, a Resilient Home, presented by the Housing Recovery Project Manager. And Minister will do the honors. She has a bouquet to present to Her Excellency Sylvanie Burton. So we do Minister first. This is a functional, lightweight replica of the Housing Recovery Project. Yes. Dr. Joseph, hand over. Minister. Come, Minister. Thank you very much, Her Excellency and Honorable Mrs. Skerrit. As we close the curtain on today's ceremony, on behalf of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development and the Government of Dominica, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for your presence, your participation, and your support. It is with profound gratitude that we convey our heartfelt thanks to Her Excellency, Mrs. Sylvanie Burton, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mr. Burton, for gracing us with your esteemed presence. For your leadership in guiding and steering the course of policy making and financial management, thank you to Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, Honorable Dr. Irving McIntyre, Minister for Finance, Honorable Melissa Skerrit, Minister for Housing and Urban Development, other cabinet members. The World Bank for your funding resources and for your sterling partnership, as well as your technical team for your technical and operational advice, underscoring the collaborative nature of this project. We also thank the following stakeholders for implementation support: the Financial Secretary, the various parliamentary representatives, the Housing Recovery Project Implementation Unit staff, the Central Services Units, heads of departments and government agencies, the Mayor of Roseau, Physical Planning Division, the Chambers of the Attorney General, the National Bank of Dominica, the Kalinago Chief and Council, other village councils and local community committees, our housing recovery project contractors, and the following individuals and groups whose contributions made today's ceremony a meaningful and memorable occasion: staff of the President's Office, housing recovery beneficiaries and their supporters, Pastor Samuel Augustine, our local music artists, Shalina and Joy Stout, other dignitaries, special invited guests, our media houses, and the event organizing team. Let us go forth with renewed determination and optimism. Thank you and good day.
Of the handing over ceremony of 41 new homes. It's the handing over ceremony of keys to the beneficiaries at the 5th annual ceremony of the Housing Recovery Project. Yes, and we're just hearing the announcement of the departure of the President of Dominica and thanking the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit for his attendance and, of course, his remarks here this afternoon. So we saw...
We are officially closed. We do have refreshments for you.
We saw the beneficiaries receiving the keys this afternoon, and as always, a joyous, exciting moment for them all. And they have received a symbolic gesture of more keys to their new homes. We heard remarks. We heard remarks from the representative of the World Bank, who congratulated the beneficiaries and also spoke about the importance of having a and spoke about the World Bank's commitment to assisting Dominica, the government of Dominica, in making these homes a reality. The Dominicans whose houses were destroyed after Hurricane Maria. And we also heard that the beneficiaries, we heard from Lucy Pascal, we also heard from Mr. Nigel Kazimi and Derek Wilshire. These were the 3 beneficiaries who gave an account or testimony of their testimony of the situation in terms of not having a house or the house being destroyed by Hurricane Maria. And we heard of the moving testimony by Mom Philomen Felix, who is the owner of the home. We also heard from Nigel Kazimi from Louisville, who spoke about how he now owns a home and will be in a better position now. We heard from Melissa Skerrit, the Minister for Housing, and also the parliamentary representative. Project, and she also made mention about the ministry the importance of home and spoke about the resilience features of the houses. She spoke about concrete roofs. She also mentioned that they type of windows that they have used to make sure that it is more resilient in the event of a disaster or hurricanes. These houses can withstand the winds, withstand even earthquakes as well. So I'm trying to get a signal from my technician as to if we can go around speaking to any of the beneficiaries. Mr. Thomas, can we move along? No, not really. Okay, we will try to see if we can have one of the beneficiaries come to us. Hi. Hi, good afternoon to you. Congratulations. I'm sorry if I have to stop you on your way. Tell us your name, please.
I'm Nigel Kazimi.
Nigel, congratulations. I heard you give your testimony this afternoon. How do you feel right now after receiving your key?
Well, I'm very excited I got my keys, and it's very good to me to be very independent and not going to be paying rent. And my daughter.
You spoke about your daughter. Is that your daughter?
That's my daughter right there, yeah.
How are you feeling? Tell us your name.
Naina Kazimi.
How do you feel to see Daddy getting his keys for his new home?
Good.
Good. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Take care now. All right. So we will try to get another quick chat with one of the beneficiaries. Hi. Oh, you can try. Oh, yes. Welcome to the CBS Radio. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm fine.
Tell us your name, please.
Oliver Yankee.
Oliver Yankee. Okay, Oliver. How do you feel? Being in attendance at the State House, seeing that 42 Dominicans are beneficiaries of new homes.
Well, it's been always a pleasure to present the homes to the beneficiaries, and I myself personally, I feel very grateful for the opportunity from the government and the World Bank to as a means of exposing myself and the local contractors and the building and the things that we can do, and then it's just a blessing and a thanks.
Definitely. You were not here only as an attendee or someone they invited, but you were directly involved in making these homes a reality for these beneficiaries. You built these houses. Tell us about your experience.
Well, it's been a journey since the program has opened. We are, apart from what we know, we have learned a lot coming forward. The biggest joy is when we are here, seeing the beneficiaries accepting the house and the happiness that you can see it in their eyes and their emotions, and that is like, for myself, 100% satisfaction.
The homes being more resilient.
Because we have some pictures of before and after, and most of them are basically, they look like derelict buildings and it's not conducive for living. But presently now, we are not only giving them the strong homes, but we are giving them the independence and the confidence that they can go forward, because resilience is not only in the building, resilience is in their feeling and their comfort and everything. So that is it's a whole package, a network, the resilience that they receive and that they show.
And interestingly, you mentioned that because one of the recipients gave a testimony about her mother, and the mother is visually impaired. So I was also hearing that the house was built to help her move around, knowing that she's visually impaired.
Yes, well, in every situation, it's kind of a unique with the beneficiaries. That one was a special one, and she spoke of her mommy for how many years they have that building, 50 years, she said. But there are others that they basically are saying that their children, how happy they are that their children can finally sleep in comfort and in safety. And then there are those that cannot move, and they kind of, they're just happy, and that's just...
How many houses were you involved in building?
Presently, I've built 15, and I think I'm on my 16th now, so 15 houses.
Well, congratulations to you, sir. You are deserving of your congratulatory, because you did wonderful work to ensure that these beneficiaries can go into their homes. So as we speak, they can go into the homes as of when? Today?
Well, they can basically go and have their coffee, like the Prime Minister say, as soon as they live there. Yes.
So they are ready. The houses are ready for use.
It's ready for use, yeah. In some instances, there are some people that are already in their homes because of special circumstances, and then the hurricane season coming now, so they can go in as soon. I can drop them home if they want.
Oh, nice. Thank you, sir. Congratulations to you. Good job. All right. So we are at the State House Conference Room as we just saw the end of the 5th ceremony to hand over keys to 42 recipients. So 42 homes, the handover of 42 homes. And this is the 5th HRP home handover ceremony taking place so far. So that is all the time we have with you. It was a pleasure bringing this to you live via our Facebook platform and also via our frequencies all over Dominica and throughout the Caribbean, throughout the world. Thank you so much for staying tuned. We would like to wish you a pleasant afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your evening. My name is Kewana Fontaine Wilson on behalf of Dean Thomas, our technician on duty, taking you back to Studio 1, Master Control, DBS Radio.